Look at that. Whoa! All right, well, there we go. Look at that, we flipped it. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. It is actually just a fantastic day out here in Wailea, Maui. Molokini out there, Kaho'olawe. We got Lanai over there, West Maui. And we're gonna be testing the PowerEgg X waterproof kit. So I might have to just jump in the water and save it. But we're gonna see how all this stuff works. Okay, so we kind of wanna do this carefully and as quickly as possible because as you can see, I'm around sand and lava rock. So we need to be careful not to scratch anything. So first thing, we'll take out the PowerEgg X and we'll pop open the bottom, take out this gimbal brace here, and there we go. We have the PowerEgg ready for battery power. Got 3 batteries here, all fully charged. Pop the battery in, and before we put the cover on, we got to put the legs on, right? So we'll just open up these legs. Now these things only go on one way. You can see I did this all in my unboxing and also the first flight. So if you want to see this more in depth, go ahead and check out those videos pop up here and in the description, guys. This is mainly in the series just today to test the waterproofness of it, right? And how it performs in the water. So push these guys down, line them up in the slots, push them down. That's ready to go. All we got to do is put the cover on, make sure the battery's seated in there right. Check the battery power. Yep, that's a fully charged battery. You see how that's all ready to go? Just need to snap these things down because this is what the floaties are going to be attached to. Let's put the floaties on first so that we have some platform for it to sit on before we put that enclosure on. So you put that in and then you put this one in and they just slide right down in. I'd say it's about maybe like 5 to 10 breeze coming from this direction. That's going to be the northwest. Yeah, do this front one here. As you can see, just going around. Don't want these things to hit the motor, right? You really don't want to hinder the motor performance with these guys. I noticed that if you slide them up too high, they're going to hit the motor. So make sure before you, like this one's already hitting. Make sure before you Velcro it, you slide them down a bit and really like hug it around the arm and then put the Velcro on so it's not going to be able to push up into the motor. Going all the way under and Velcroing. There we go. And now we can kind of set this thing down on the lava rock. See this? We don't have to worry about like banging up the legs and stuff. If you're going to have the waterproof kit, you're going to need like an extra backpack. It's like 3 different things that's going to be hanging around if you're just trying to carry them all separate. So you're going to need some kind of little backpack. Here's the waterproof case, opening it up. Now this is the second drone they gave me because the first one, the battery melted in the compartment because if the battery was in there, even if it was off, it was still draining for some reason. And it was like just dissipating heat and it kind of melted the case. Anyway, they sent me a new one. And here it is. So you got 3 clips and see how that's opening up. And we don't want to get any whatsoever sand in here. Looking at these arm notches, they're sliding in the little channels of the silicone. That's very important for this thing to be waterproof, okay? And then this goes up and look at that. I don't remember the other one having these, but these are little like rubber blockers for the forward sensing. Flip over the top clip. You just want those notches to get over. Clamp that side. And then we're just pushing this over the clips and clamping that side. So that's really tight. Double check it, making sure there's no sand in the seal. It looks great. So that's how that thing's gonna fly in the water, guys. So this thing's ready to go, guys. All I need to do is boot up the controller and get this thing started. So little antennas up, got our little clamp. One of the cons, these guys needs to make this clamp a little more sturdy down here. That kind of goes up and down. If you pull on this, this thing will pop out of this. I've had that happen several times. It's okay just holding your phone, but a little bit negative there how that just falls off occasionally. So let's get down to the beach. Since this is all set up, slide that phone in there. This is an Android phone. Before we get started, I should mention that the maps don't work on this, but they do. I just booted up my iPad last night and had my iPad up, and the Google Maps and stuff do work on the iPad and the Apple phone. So just remember that. They need to do some work on the Android to get those base maps working, you know what I mean? This is the power button. It's like a little rubber extrusion. So we're gonna press and hold. So it turns on as normal. And I can see the gimbal going up and down, left and right, calibrating itself. And I just heard a couple of beeps. Ooh, this water's coming up. Power on the controller doesn't really matter either or with this one. I'm gonna power on the controller second, just holding in the power here. We're gonna start in the N, which is the normal mode, right in the middle. We're waiting for like a vibration on the controller. This is gonna be interesting to see how this thing flies in the wind with these floaties on it and everything. There we go. Vibration, as long as your phone's on when you plug in with this one. So as soon as I plugged in, check this out. I'm gonna record my screen for you guys. I haven't really seen any updates recently, so I guess we don't have to do any updates. And you see how there's these two buttons. On the bottom, I wanna go into waterproof mode. So I'm just tapping it. It's going through this device list, so just check everything. Make sure you have everything set up right. Make sure there's no warnings on calibration, or you're gonna wanna run through some calibrations. And here we go, we're in the main interface, and look at that. I want you guys to really look at this video. I'm gonna start it now. Starting recording in 4K. Really pay attention to that video. Have it up on the screen at times and see if you see any refractions from the lens, from the case, and any really choppiness from overheating perhaps. This one you can either press this button on the left or just push in the stick. So I'm gonna push them down. You see how the propellers come on real quick? No waterproof case detected. Oh, it doesn't detect a waterproof case? Cancel. Oh, that was weird. You see that error come up? Pushing up. So for some reason it didn't detect the case, so maybe they want to work on that. I had to cancel that. So it's hovering actually better than I thought it would, with about 10-mile-per-hour wind coming from this direction. You can see how it's just staying super stationary, fighting the wind a little bit. Doing actually very good. Facing into the wind. Oh boy, I actually have a little bit of plastic left on it. I need to take that off. See that? That was covering up one of those little breather vents on the bottom. Definitely want to make sure both of those are off. Let me get it up here. Yeah. So those are both off. Let's see if it detects the ground. If I pull down, yeah, it's not even really detecting the ground. With the case off, it would stop, and then you'd have to hold it, and then it would land. But look how low I can go without even it stopping. So keep that in mind too. The case disables all the sensors, it seems. Maybe I'll go over here. There we go. Set her down right here. Okay, right in front of me. Right there. Let's do a downward shot of the water. Oh wow, okay, all the way down. Look at that little bit of blurriness in the screen. I guess that's from the case. So downward shots are gonna be a bit blurry. Okay, there we are. And let's go ahead and dunk her in the water with a nice view of McKenna there. So pulling down. Now you guys watch the video and watch my camera and everything. All right, it's setting down, and it turned off the propellers, and it's still recording. So check this out. Still recording. Gonna move the camera down into the water. So I'm facing it all the way down. So with this one, the camera stays up above the water, not like the Swell Pro, right? That the camera goes in the water. So you can still see some features if you have nice clear water. You see how there's some coral in the sand there. So let's try to take off again. So arming, I felt there we go. I felt the vibration on the controller and taking right back off. That was pretty cool. Let's try that one more time, because it felt like it vibrated and I couldn't take off the first time. I'm gonna set it down again. And check this out. I'm kind of flying it. Look at this, while it's in the water. I didn't press down too far, but it's gonna shut the propellers off after a while. So you can't do that kind of like you can with a Swell Pro. It's gonna think it's landed and it's gonna shut them off. So quickly arming the propellers because it's going into the rocks. Nice. So there's not much chop, but there's a little bit to give it some trouble. The Swell Pro kind of had some trouble too doing that. Let's kind of fly it really slow, see what kind of low and slow, see what kind of footage we can get. Just right on the water. I'm gonna just kind of push it out and go close to the water. Okay, kind of dropping, and it disarmed, like right when I touched the water that time. Okay, no problems arming though. That's great. Come back forward. You know we're gonna hit it in the water, right? Pretty soon. Woo! So maybe it is kind of detecting this surge, because look at it. The water sucks out. It's going down a bit. Now watch when this surge comes in. Here comes a kind of a large surge. Look at the craft go up on its own. I'm not touching anything on the controller. You see that? So somehow it's seeing the water. So apparently the sensors do work somewhat through the case. Well, that's great. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna fly fast and straight forward. And let's see how close of a shot we can get of the water. Nice. So this is just a low, maybe a couple feet off the water. Turning. Ooh, it looks like it's getting low. It's kind of fluctuating just a bit. Come back. So say you wanted to get these nice stabilized shots. We're keeping an eye on this camera. I'm just gonna come right at me, go really low as possible. Look at that. Whoa! All right, well there we go. Look at that, we flipped it. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to jump in. Oh crap. It's like trying, it's trying to arm, but then it's giving me an error. Okay guys, this thing, altitude too large. All right, I gotta jump in and save this thing. Okay guys, so give me a second. The mic and everything back on, but man, did you guys see that? I was able to catch it right before it hit the shore, so no damage. I just walked over to the rocks over there and grabbed it. Still got 64% power left. We're still recording on the video. That didn't go off or anything. We just look in the drone itself. I see no water inside. That's a good sign. So the case is keeping it waterproof. So now that we have some salt on the motors, let's see if we can take off again. And this time I'm going to take off by just using the auto takeoff. Let's do the launch slide for the check mark. There we go. So it's flying better than I thought it would with the waterproof combo on there. Look at this. Everything's going just fantastic. Full control, didn't even phase it. So in a sense, that's a really good waterproof drone. It just does not have the flippability that the Swell Pro does now. Remember? Let's get back over here on the edge. So it'll flip over easy. That's one thing to remember, and you can't flip it back over in the water. Just remember that. So if you're flying in the water, try to make sure you're flying upwind and kind of down current or up current. So if you know the wind and the waves will wash it back towards you. Let me just look at these straps real quick. I forgot to check this. I want to make sure they're not touching the motors anywhere. Nope, they all look good. This thing's doing better than I thought it would actually. So maybe don't do like super low and slow shots with this, because if you hit the water, it's gonna flip over and you have to jump in. So you can do these. I would stay maybe, 5 or so feet above the water. Let's turn around, come on back. Full forward, let's see if it drops at all. Not bad, that's full forward, letting off. Woo, don't hit the lava rock. Turning back around. All right, so it's maintaining a decent height. I think you can see the water a little bit, but I think it's mainly trying to adjust its altitude for the onboard altitude sensor, which may actually be fluctuating a little bit because of the pressure inside, right, from the heat. That's kind of how it is with the Swell Pros too. Because when you have a waterproof enclosure, it's really hard to get that atmospheric pressure going inside of it. So I'm just going to fly around. Let's go on the lava rock a little bit, get some cool shoreline shots. I'm just going to go straight out. Look at this. Looking at my screen. We're kind of going into the wind a bit. So it's pushing it down a bit, so I want to be careful here. I'm going to stop about there and come back. So just turn and come straight back. There you go. Looks like it pushed the gimbal down a little bit automatically for that wind. Let's come straight back here. Get some cool shoreline footage, a little bit over the water. And that's what you're going to want this waterproof case for, right? Is you're going to want to be doing these kinds of shots, even though it has its own cons, not the best drone. At least you can do these types of shots without worrying about destroying it in the water, unless you lose it, of course. Let's do this shot. Flying over the water, I want to turn around and come back. And I want a cool shot right over this rock, right at me. Full stick forward, I'm not adjusting the altitude whatsoever. Ooh, that was neat. Got splashed on a little bit. Woo! Whoa! Almost fell down there. All right, how much power? Okay, this thing is a great flyer because it's got flight time. As far as the flight characteristics and the flight time, it's doing very well. So, you know I knocked it a little bit in the first review, and since it melted my case on the first one, but it seems to be doing very well. We're gonna quickly go into Pro mode, which is much faster, and we're just gonna see how it does at about maybe 6 feet above the water, straight into the wind. Okay, I want to get some cool over the reef and surf shots. There we go, look at this. So this is possible. Ooh, wind is pushing that down. So I know, line of sight, I'm looking at it. Whoa, now it's going up. That was interesting. It just went up on its own. Now it's really dropping on its own. So keep in mind, you are going to get some radical maybe fluctuation with this case as far as the height and the altitude. We're going to zoom in here pretty quick. Full speed forward in P mode. Doesn't seem like it's going that fast. I'm not sure if P mode really did anything. Try to go back to normal mode. What I should probably do, guys, is try some tracking. So we'll just do flying around with this first battery, get a really good feel of how this thing works in the water, what you can expect. And I'm going to pop in a new battery, and we're going to try a little bit of tracking with this this lens on, right? Is it fogging up? Let's look at it. Not fogging up. Blinking red. Oh, now it's going to try to do its return to home. It only needs to return right there. Let's see how it does with the case on a return to home. Whoa. Uh-oh. It's returning right there. So I just took over. I'm kind of holding it up. I'm going to cancel this. Canceling it. So it's going to keep trying to take over. Keep that in mind. I'm going to land it right here. We're going to pop another battery in. So just manually landing it. I can still steer it with my stick and pulling down, holding all the way down, and the propellers will turn off. Awesome, guys. I am going to take this off, switch out to the other battery. Let's try a little bit of tracking and then I'll wrap this waterproof review up. Feeling the bottom, it's a little warm. There's a heat sink there. So the heat is dissipating. Let's open it. Being really careful not to get any water in there. Let's see if we have any droplets inside. No, those are on the outside. All that stuff's on the outside. I just touched it. Let's pull this thing out and really inspect it in there. So being very careful. Just kind of working it off. There's the drone. I just turned it off. No sign of water whatsoever. Little baffles to let the air pressure go in and out, but are still waterproof. Are working very well. So no complaints there. Just remember to keep this inside of this lens like super clean. I might want to take my shirt or a lens cloth and wipe off the inside where I touched it, and then we'll wipe off the outside when we get back in the air. Let's go ahead and go back into the waterproof mode, checking all of our stats on the screen, and let's see if it gives us that error again where it says no case detected. Okay, it said reminder forward sensing disabled. And let's lift off. We'll do a manual, both sticks in. Yeah, so look at that. No waterproof case detected. We don't want to just do aircraft mode, so I'm going to hit cancel. So maybe something they can work on again. Not sure how it's supposed to detect the waterproof case, but it is what it is. So this time, right, we want to do some tracking shots. Okay, AI. What? Okay, look at this. You can't use the AI when you're using the waterproof case. You see that message? Reminder, waterproof mode, smart functions unusable. I'm going to press home here on the top. Let's go back into waterproof mode and see if it asks us. Okay, there we go. Switch to aircraft mode. Okay, let's see what happens. Still flying. Still flying fine. See if we pull down. Wow, look at that. It can detect the ground through the case. So far so good. See how I'm pushing down on the stick? That's how it performs in its regular mode. So the sensor is seeing the ground. So let's see if it can see and track. Might not even have to be in waterproof mode. Let's try it out. Get up, get the user in view. Let's go into AI mode now. Hey, we can do it. Let's try a follow me mode. Only when the aircraft is above 3 meters. Okay. Go up to 10 feet. Yeah, that should be good enough. Let's get the user in the view again. You guys really keep an eye on this picture too, this 4K through this waterproof case. I want to see what you guys think. Make sure you comment down below. All right, let's just do the trace mode. That's just the normal tracking. Great, it sees me, clicking on me. Fantastic. Okay, well, it should all be ready to go. Let's go ahead and walk. Walk along the beach. So with the trace mode, oh, look at that. So it didn't want to turn. Hey, I see the, I'm seeing the floaty of the craft. Did you see that? Let's get back in view here, see what it does. Okay, so having a little bit of trouble. Click on me again there. For some reason the craft didn't want to move. Maybe I'm in the wrong mode. Let's try a different one. Back into AI. Let's try a different follow me. Let's try parallel. Clicking on the target. At least it can see me. Oh, perhaps I wasn't pressing play, that's why. We'll try that other one again. Parallel. What's it gonna do? Hey. Okay, so this is the one where it stays like a tripod and it won't move. Or will it? Maybe I'm getting these mixed up. No, it's following me. Okay. Woo, running on the rocks. Woo, woo. Hey man, it's working with the case. So if you guys really wanted to use the tracking with the case, Look at this, I'm running all around the beach and it's working. Run towards it, into the water, towards the water. All right, well that's great. It's working better than expected. X out of this. Go back into AI mode. Maybe I'll point of interest the actual tree. Let's go above the tree. You know, just for demonstration reasons. Whew, we're eating some power in this one. I only got 54% power left. So let's fly over the tree. Let's see if we can do a point of interest. Water's coming up. Right? You can see it's a little blurry. Okay, so the tree is the point of interest set. Now I'm gonna fly back a little ways and up. And let's set that tree as the point of interest. I know it's kind of boring, guys, but just for demonstration purposes. And let's play. All right. Went forward a little bit, and now it's circling. So I'm not pressing anything, it's just circling on its own. Remember, I can adjust my speed here. Press speed. Let's pick it up a little bit. Let's go to 5. Let's go a little higher and farther back and see what it does. So I'm going to move to the right a little. Yeah, so it might have a little bit of trouble tracking. See how I just moved the camera and now it's kind of off kilter here. So that didn't work too well. Let's come down. Let's do a little quick shot. Want to hurry up? We got 40% power left. Downward shot. Also be good to see how the lens kind of penetrates the water, you know. Okay, let's try a quick shot with this mode. Where am I? There we go. Okay, let's see how this does with the waterproof case on the edge of the ocean. And we gotta hurry up because our power is diminishing. All right, let's try a quick shot. So quickly AI, quick shots. Recording, okay, I'm gonna have to stop the recording. Stopping the drone recording, AI, quick shots. We're just gonna do a droney to go out into the ocean. We're gonna adjust my distance to all the way, okay? And that's it. That's all I can do. So let's click on the user, press play. Let's see how it is with this waterproof case on the edge of the ocean. Woo! Going 140 meters away, I believe that was. These are those droney automatic shots, right guys? So it looks like it's doing pretty good. We're at 30% power. Stopped out there. And this one, what it does is it just comes straight back overhead. And then if I remember correctly, then it just kind of comes down. Let's let it do that. I can control the gimbal again. We'll just let it come back to where it wants. It's coming down. Whoa! Looks like it's gonna try to land right there. So be wary of that. Okay, let's get out of this. We're really losing power, so I want to quickly just try something. I wanted to try an orbit while tracking. See if I can remember how to do that. Follow me, okay. We're gonna do a trace. Click on the target. Now you can do this with anything, not just yourself. So now that it has us in view, we press play, record the video again, and you can kind of do a manual orbit on this. Let's try it. I'm going to push to the right. See that with my right thumbstick? I'm pushing to the right and it's doing a fantastic smooth orbit. Pushing harder to the right. Looks like our speed limit. If we wanted to, there's a tree there, it might hit, so I'm gonna go the other way. If we wanted to, check this out. I'm still holding the stick. I'm gonna switch speed. Let's turn the speed up. Do we have to go the other way? Oh, I don't even have to hold the stick, I forgot. Do you see that? You see that slider? There you go. You don't even have to hold the stick. So I would do orbit that way for sure. Stop the function before it hits the tree. So all these shots do work really good. Let's do a shoot up shot. From the ground. Hold, we only have 15% power left. Let's see what happens. Holding up full blast. Let's see how good it is at this. Whoa, it's going way over there. Okay, well that's it with the camera facing down on like a blasting up shot. You guys will be able to see the stability on that. Probably need to get this thing down. So I think we did go over just about everything. That was weird how it was going forward when I was blasting up. Okay, let's let it do an automatic return again. Let's see what happens if I'm pulling it back while it goes into this return. There it goes, just cut me out. I can still move the gimbal around. Still maintain my shooting while it's returning home, which is cool. But yeah, you're gonna get that blurry on the bottom of that. So you might not wanna do that. So it went up to a designated height, which is 127 feet, looks like. Around 120. Whoa. There it is. Whoa, that thing's coming down fast. Pushing up. Oh! Cancel landing. Okay, I just canceled. Geez, cancel it. Okay, I can't adjust the head. We'll just let it land right there. So remember, this one, gosh, we're only 2%, that's why. So no wonder it just wanted to land. So if you're doing it in the water, guys, just really make sure, keep an eye on that battery. No big deal, man. That was pretty cool. I'm pretty impressed. We're gonna stop recording on the 4K. And let's wrap this up with the pros and cons. Good news, not seeing any fogging around the lens area where it's taking video. So they may have put some kind of coating on there to help it. I didn't even really see any droplets. The only problem is when you face straight down, right, you can kind of see that blurry line on that little creasy edge, but otherwise, man, there is no water in here. Remember, we flipped it, right? And it was bobbing on the water for at least 5 minutes. I had to take a walk over there and I retrieved it. Luckily didn't have to jump in the water. Even if I did have to jump in, it would have been a nice swim, but I was able to just pick it up from the rocks before it hit anything. And it did actually a lot better than I thought. The floaties worked great. It kept it up off the water. I was a little worried about it arming while it was rocking, but it had no problem arming. Just be careful going way out and trying to land in the water. You probably don't want to do that. Land in the water if it's somewhere where you can kind of retrieve it. You know what I mean? If something happens, it flips over or you can't get connection back. What these ones will do is if you drop it down way out there and you lose connection, it'll go into its normal return to home and come back as long as the motors are spinning. Running into the water, it flipped very, very easily. You could see us just going a few miles per hour. It caught the front edge, boom, flipped right over. So I wouldn't recommend this for flying very low with this case on because the altitude will fluctuate a few feet. If we did have the waterproof mode on, it wasn't letting us do any of those AI features as I was showing on my phone. But when you turn that waterproof feature off, it kind of asks you just go into regular flight mode when you start. It actually worked very well, and the sensors detected the ground too. You might just want to leave the waterproof mode off because the tracking, remember we were doing some orbits, we're doing the selfie, we're doing the tracking, follow me. All that worked very, very well. The heat sink did dissipate the heat very well. It gets pretty hot in there. Of course, there's no attachment on the bottom. So like you probably heard of the Swell Pro drones where you can attach things and drop them with those remote drops. Regular drones like DJI and others, they cannot land on the water. You know what I mean? They're not waterproof. This one flipped over and it was still waterproof, sitting in the water for 5 minutes. So that is something this really has going for it. It's kind of a universal type drone. This is more of a jack of all trades, waterproof, take off the arms, use it as a handheld camera, and take off all the waterproof stuff and just fly it like a regular drone. So that's what this one's all about. The flight time is not bad. Without the case, I think we're getting up to almost like 25 to 30 minutes. And then with the case, it seems like it maybe lost about 5 minutes of flight time, especially with these floaties on. You got more wind resistant, more weight. So I'll also have the flight time with this come up here, especially in that last flight, because we went down to 2%, remember that? So I'll have that flight time pop up. Comment down below and make sure you tell me how you think that 4K video looked coming out of this case, because that's really gonna tell us if this is the drone to get if you're trying to shoot like water activities and have that peace of mind when flying over water. This is not going to take underwater shots. Since this allows it to be above, the camera's above the water, you can't sit this thing down in the water effectively. I guess we could take these off and try it, but then it would be really like probably rocking around and it probably wouldn't be able to launch again. So that would be another test. I might try it. Not ideal if you want to get underwater shots with this one. Overall, guys, not too bad again on the ocean test. I hope you enjoyed that. I had lots of fun. I hope you had fun with me on doing these cool water tests with these drones. I think this is like my favorite type of test to do with these waterproof drones. You just come to the beach, thrash it, see how it handles it, and just really put it through its paces. Anyway, links in the description of where you can get this PowerEgg X. If you thought it was something you might want to get for like your ocean activity shots, the tracking is pretty amazing, even with the waterproof case on. All the stuff I usually use in my videos I have down in the description too. I have all my gear down there if you're wanting to check out what I use. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.